Okay, so let's talk about something that probably feels really familiar. We all have these incredibly powerful little supercomputers right in our pockets. We're connected like 24/7. So why on earth is it so difficult to actually learn together using them? That's the paradox we're diving into.
Come on, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got that group chat for a big project. It's just a fire hose of notifications, memes, missed messages, and a whole lot of confusion. It feels chaotic. You're definitely communicating, but are you really, truly working together? This is the core of the problem we're looking at today.
And this isn't just a small issue affecting a few people. The research we're exploring found that over 95% of college students use smart mobile devices. Just think about that for a second. The potential for learning is absolutely staggering. The tools are literally in everyone's hands, which makes this collaboration paradox we're talking about, well, it makes it that much more important to solve. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We have the technology for a constant connection, but are we using it to truly collaborate? The research makes it crystal clear. There is a huge gap between just firing messages back and forth and, engaging in the kind of structured teamwork that actually gets things done.
Right, so let's get our terms straight, because they are not the same thing. Communication, that's just the exchange of information. It's that messy flood of texts in the group chat. Collaboration, on the other hand, is totally different. It is a structured process where you're all working towards a shared goal. In fact, one researcher put it really bluntly, saying that a lot of what passes for mobile collaboration right now is actually less than communication, which, makes it pretty much useless.
So to figure out the solution, we kind of have to look back at how we even got here. The ideas of mobile learning and social collaborative learning, they didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They actually have a pretty deep and fascinating history. This dream of having a personal device for all our knowledge goes back way, way further than you'd probably guess. We're talking as early as 1945, when Vannevar Bush imagined a MEMX, a machine that could hold all of a person's books, records, and communications. That idea morphed into the DynoBooks concept in the 70s, and then later into Mark Weiser's vision of ubiquitous computing, where technology just seamlessly integrates into our lives. All of these were basically early blueprints for the smartphone that's sitting in your pocket right now. So when we talk about mobile learning, or M-learning, what do we actually mean? Well, to put it simply, it's any learning you do on that device you're always carrying. It's about breaking learning free from the four walls of the classroom, making it something you can do anytime, anywhere. You could be reviewing notes on the bus, or looking something up to win an argument with a friend. That's M-learning. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have collaborative learning. And this idea is ancient. It goes all the way back to how philosophers and religious teachers taught their followers, not by lecturing at them, but by building these socially connected groups. The core idea, which is totally backed up by modern theory, is that we humans learn faster and remember more when we learn with other people, not just from a single source.
But, and this is the big but, here's the problem. Just taking these two amazing ideas, mobile tech and group work, and smashing them together, it's not enough. In fact, it usually backfires. Most students will tell you they hate group projects on their phones because of the lack of real collaboration. Without a good plan, you don't get a productive team, you just get a really, really chaotic group chat.
So what's the missing ingredient? What's the secret sauce? Well, the research we're looking at proposes a blueprint, a specific set of core components that are absolutely necessary to turn that messy mobile communication into powerful, effective, collaborative learning. And here it is. This is the recipe for making it work. First up is positive interdependence. That's the we sink or swim together feeling. Next, you need individual liability, which just means everyone is held accountable for their specific piece of the puzzle. Then, of course, you need mutual support and real social interaction, not just random chatter. And finally, the research is clear, keeping the group small is absolutely key for staying focused. These aren't just suggestions. They are the essential ingredients for success.
Okay, so when you take all those principles and you combine them with a specific learning task on a phone, you get something the researchers call a Mobile Collaborative Learning Object, or an MCILO for short. Now, it's not an app you can just download. Think of it more as a carefully designed activity that has all those ingredients for real teamwork baked right in. And this brings us to the really practical part of all this. How do you actually design one of these things? How do you create an effective learning experience? The big shift in thinking here is that the focus isn't on the technology. Not really. It's all about the design of the activity itself. The research lays out a really clear 4-step plan. Step 1, you have to start by defining a very specific learning goal. What do you want people to know or do? Step 2, you design a structured group activity that actually forces people to work together to succeed. Then step 3, as it's all happening, you have to actively encourage meaningful interaction. And finally, step 4, you evaluate everything, not just the final project, but the quality of the teamwork itself. Now, here is a fascinating and kind of counterintuitive idea that comes out of the research. We tend to think of conflict in a group as a bad thing, right? But it turns out that what they call social cognitive conflicts, which is basically just well-managed disagreements about the work, can actually be a huge driver of learning. When people have to debate their different ideas and negotiate a single path forward, they end up with a much deeper, more solid understanding of the topic. All right, so as we start to pull this all together, let's just boil it down to one single core message. This is really the big idea that the entire research paper is built around. And here it is, the ultimate takeaway. That smartphone in your hand can be a distraction machine, or it can be an incredibly powerful portal to knowledge. The thing that makes the difference isn't the device, it's not the app. It is the design. It's the thoughtful structure that's built into the learning activity itself. That's what unlocks all this potential. So once we actually mastered the design of mobile collaboration, the possibilities, they're practically endless. And that leaves us with one final, pretty big question to think about. What problems could we solve if we could truly, effectively learn together with anyone, anywhere on the planet? Thanks for tuning in.